Welcome to Miller's Monsters, and I'm Mr. Beelzebub, and this here is Echo getting a treat. Behind me is Edgar P. the Scully. He's not getting a treat. He's always causing me trouble. And let's talk about Mother Shipton's cave and petrifying well. And Mother Shipton was said to be a witch and an oracle. And she did did potions and spells, was very well known by the area, and she also had a way of predicting the future. And we'll get more into a few of her predictions later in this episode. And if you want to see the cave and the well, the cave is where she grew up with. And the well is thought that she had some sort of spell on it, and if you put an object into the well water, let it set for 3 to 5 months, it would come out petrified. And if you do want to see this, before I forget, it's in Knaresborough, UK. If you want to see these things. And when she was born, her mother was very poor, had nowhere to live and nowhere to go, so they lived in this cave. And after a while, the town took pity on them. After 2 years, she actually lived in the cave for 2 years, so she had a fondness for this cave and was always by the cave. During the day and all that. So the bewitched well, let's start with that one first. But before I do that, please take a moment and hit the subscribe, ring the bell, set yourself up for notifications. Also, tell your friends to like and subscribe as well. And my email is tim@millersmonsters.com. Send me your story, send me your pictures, send me a letter, send me anything. Just to get a letter would be nice. I'm begging you. I'm not past anything. Alright, so Mother Shipton, she was in Knaresborough. She was associated with, like I said, all kinds of tragic events. The dark doings, anything that pretty much went wrong in the area, she was related to. And she was born, they say, during a storm. And when she was born, instead of crying, she let out this strange cackle. And as soon as she let out the cackle, the storm suddenly disappeared. Their term, she was born as she was not particularly beautiful woman. She had a big nose that was crooked, a hump on her back, and her legs were twisted, so there were some birth effects as well. But again, she was known that she bewitched this well to turn things into petrified objects. And well, as time goes on, when she we're talking back in the late 1500s and 1600s, she lived to, I believe it was 72. But nowadays they know the reason for this bewitching of the well. Well, it seems it has just been a high mineral content in the water that's in the well. So when you put an object in there and the water gets on it, minerals attach to the object, the water evaporates and then again repeats itself. Think of it as making a candle. How you take the wick, dip it in the wax, and one layer at a time builds and builds and builds. That's what's happening in this well. Eventually you get this petrified object. So unfortunately, well, she didn't bewitch the well, but she did predict a lot of things. back in her day, as you get a close-up of Echo looking for me to give her more treats. So we'll take a break, I'll give her a treat, and then we'll dive into some of the things she did predict. All right, as I said, strange and unusual things happened around Mother Shipton, and one incident took place when she was younger, and there was a group of people sitting outside, and as she walked by, they called her an ugly hag, and was teasing her, and suddenly one of the guys, the toilet seat appeared around his neck, and the seat closed on his head. Another guy's hat turned into an upside down pot, and then one guy coming outside the house to see what was going on suddenly grew horns and couldn't get out the door, but that was said to disappear very quickly, so I'm not sure if obviously a lot of these stories could be embellished at the time, but she did have a few predictions, and one was she predicted that water would run from the river Ouse, I believe that's how it's pronounced, blocking everything, and to the houses of I believe it was York. And she would talk in rhymes. When she did these predictions, she would talk in rhymes, because if you've just flat out predicted something, okay, you probably get tossed in jail, get dunked in the river to be tested for a witch, and then probably burned at the stake, back then. So she would talk in rhymes, and people would have to interpret things. And this is how this rhyme particularly went. Before Ouse Bridge and Trinity Church meet, what is built in the day shall fall in the night, till the highest stone in the church be the lowest stone of the bridge. Okay, but before that happened, they actually took pipes. I told you about how she said it would run from the river over the bridge into the houses. They built pipes out of trees that brought water out over the bridge to a windmill, and then out to the houses at each house. So she was, in a way, right about that. Now to the other one, not long after she said that little rhyme I told you, a storm hit, and the river flooded, and the steeple on the church was destroyed, and part of the bridge was destroyed. So what did they do? They used a part of the steeple to be the base for the rebuilding of the bridge, and then of course built a new steeple. So the highest stone of the church will be the lowest stone of the bridge. Prophecy met. Very strange indeed. And then she also, unfortunately, predicted the end of the world. Back in, what was said, she predicted the end of the world back in 18 something. There's several different dates about it, but really that was a bit of fiction from the author who that chronicled her stories or her predictions. So can't hold any weight with that. So what else did Mother Shipton predict? Well, it depends on how you interpret her riddles, but some of the things that has been attributed, rightfully or wrongfully, to her was the fall of Cardinal Wolsey, who I don't know who that is, and I really didn't look it up. The untimely death of Henry's son, Edward VI. The horrifying reign of Bloody Mary. The ascent of Queen Elizabeth to the throne of England. And also she predicted the dissolution of the Catholic Church under Henry VIII. The Great Fire of London in 1666. And the the collapse of the church and the bridge we talked about, Francis Drake's defeat at the Spanish Armada. I can go on and on because there's quite a few things. And then here's another reference that she said the world would end in 1991. Well, it keeps getting pushed around. The American Civil War, French Revolution, so among others. And again, it's just it is just how you interpret the riddles she wrote. From the riddles, she seemed to be right on with some of them. So you know, is it a case of if you predict enough things, something's going to happen? You know, the blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. But without going in and reading her riddles in poem, I'll never really know the truth, nor will we. But those two that I did tell you about, she's pretty spot on. So she might have been a pretty good predictor of future things. And one of the more outlandish ones is that she predicted cell phones. So, and I don't even know what poem that came from. So I hope you liked what you heard. And if you did, hit the subscribe, ring the bell, hit the like button, set yourself up for notifications so you don't miss another episode. And Echo is getting fed feverishly right now. Seems he's found his appetite. And please tell your friends to like and subscribe as well. And please send your comments, pictures, stories, true life events to Tim at millersmonsters.com. I thank you in advance, and we will all talk to you later.